Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. And today, well, today is Hump Day.
Uh-oh. Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's Hump Day.
Hump Day!
It's Hump Day.
Hump Day!
That's right, folks. Today is Hump Day. This is the day in which we attempt to begin the weekend, sometimes with success, sometimes not. But as I like to say, the fun is all in the trying. And I know Mike's not here, and it may seem like he started the weekend early, but he's actually off work. And it's just, it just be like that sometimes. So today it's going to be you and we're going to have a good time. So make sure you throw your comments in there. Remember, if you're watching live, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, you're watching us live. So go ahead. I'm following your comments. Would love to hear what you have to say. We'll put them up if we find them to be interesting. And just know that in order to be interesting, you do not have to agree with me. In fact, it's almost better if you disagree with me, because if you disagree with me, well, then I get the chance to mock you.
Oh wow, is that a mockingbird?
Man, is that a mockingbird? Is that a mockingbird?
I see right here we have American Crossfires once again in the house at 9 minutes after. Apologize, American Crossfire. I got going a little bit late today. I was setting everything up and looked up, and oops. I was like, oops. Okay, I'm running a little bit late, but we're here. You're here. I'm here. We're having a good time. We've got at least a couple of folks. Wow, look at it. Okay, the numbers are climbing of the people who are watching the program. Always like seeing them. That makes our sponsors actually very happy. So why don't we do that? Why don't we go ahead and give a quick shout out to them? We're going to start with the folks at Hitman Industries. They make rifle and pistol caliber barrels available for you to purchase at any length. Just go to their website, hitmanindustries.net. Chances are, if you bought an AR in the last few years, you already have one of their barrels, so why not get another one? So whether you're looking to do a brand new build or you're looking to rebarrel your old rifle, start your journey, start your project. There you go, whatever you want to call it, your experience. Start it with Hitman Industries. And then we've got the California Republican Assembly working to help elect conservatives at all level of government, from school board all the way up to President of the United States. Ronald Reagan once referred to CRA as the conscience of the Republican Party. Won't you find out why? Just go to cragop.org. That's cragop.org and find out. If you want to be a part of California's future today, you got to join CRA. And then we've got the best in concealed carry tactical holsters available on the market at hogholsters.com. All you have to do is go to HAWGholsters.com. That's helpingamericans.wearguns.com. Make sure you use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word, just like it is right there, and you're going to get a discount on us. And then finally, the place where you can get all your tactical gear, right? The place to go is uscombatgear.com, the place where you can find all things tactical except the gun. They have a great selection. They have great pricing, especially they specialize in group sales, and they have phenomenal customer service. Once again, check them out. The place where you can find all things tactical except the gun, uscombatgear.com. Yeah, American Crossfire, I do apologize. I don't know what was going on yesterday with yesterday's stream. It seemed to be an internet connectivity issue. Even the recording was bad. So I don't know if it was I don't know if it was the connectivity, it was the software. Something just decided it was going to go haywire yesterday. So I appreciate excuse me. I appreciate your patience with us. You know, the hard part about this is that I'm both in front of and behind the camera. So sometimes when things are going wrong during the show, I can't really tell, right? At least if it's wrong, something's wrong with the sound. I can tell if my connectivity is off. I can tell if videos aren't playing on time or if things are freezing. That stuff I can see. But the reason why the audio becomes a problem, in particular if it's my audio, is because first of all, I mute myself, because I cannot talk and hear myself at the same time, because there's just a little bit of a delay. And if you've ever had to try and speak with a delay, it just throws you off every single time. So I don't monitor myself. So anyway, I appreciate y'all understanding. Who knows? Maybe, just maybe, if we can get some more sponsors, bigger name sponsors, or who knows, maybe we'll just have to add a tip jar on here. And if we can raise enough money, maybe bring in enough money, we can afford to bring in a producer, someone who can handle all that stuff, so I can be free to just be me. Anyway, speaking of being me, we're definitely going to be me, or I'm definitely going to be me. We're going to be us when we hit SHOT Show 2026 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, SHOT Show runs from the 20th until the 23rd, so that's basically Tuesday through Friday. But Monday night, we're going to be hosting a SHOT Show, a Welcome to SHOT Show party. It's going to be Monday, January 19th, 2026, from 7 to 10 p.m. at the Hofbrau House. That's right. It's going to be at the Hofbrau House. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have free beer. We're going to have free swag. We're going to have free snacks. And there'll be tons of prizes for you to win. So you're going to want to be there. If you're in Vegas, you're going to want to be there. If you're not planning on being in Vegas, it ain't that expensive to come to Vegas. So just come, even if you're just coming for that. I know SHOT's a hard ticket to get, but you can come to this pre-SHOT Show party. Trust me, it will be definitely worth it. All of our friends will be there. Arms Room Radio, Next Level Training, Imperium Strategic Group, Hog Holsters. We're going to have right2bear.com. We're going to have Riding Shotgun with Charlie, the folks from Hitman Industries, Gun Tech USA, the Rundown, as well as 2A News. Folks, everybody will be there. In fact, all of our sponsors, and I say that because I will be representing the California Republican Assembly, but all of our sponsors will be there. So will U.S. Combat Gear will be there. Everyone's going to be there. Everyone, except, of course, you if you don't come. So if you can be there, if you can make it, you should make it. It'll be more than worth it. Folks, we always have a good time. We always have a good time at the Hofbrau House. And remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Unless it gets caught on video. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into today's news stories. You've probably, let's put it this way. We've seen all of the people that have been out there doing all the protesting, and they're there like 24/7. They're there during the day. They're there during the night. They seem to be very, very well organized. Well, why are they well organized? Well, let's just say because it is that they are well funded. And how do we know that they're well funded? Well, it's kind of funny because this was kind of the first thing that kind of let the cat out of the bag. Laura Ingraham of Fox News was out there on the streets in Minneapolis and was being harassed by a protester and caught this little interesting little tidbit in the midst of it.
Shame! Do you have a job? Do you have a job? Shame! Shame! I'm getting paid right now! Shame! Shame!
Yeah, she's getting paid right now. And that's because, yes, many of these protesters out there are, in fact, getting paid. And that was a subject of a piece that you will find over at the Washington Free Beacon. And this is something that is vitally important for y'all to see. It says, who funds the groups that are harassing ICE agents in Minnesota? The left's premier foundations and dark money networks have given millions, records show. Well, what are those millions being spent on? Well, they're being spent on things like harassing agents or harassing hotels that actually are housing some of the agents. That's right. They're being housed to do stuff like that. It says here, the reading from the Washington Free Beacon, when the Trump administration sent some 2,000 immigration agents to the Twin Cities area, they were met by activists who trailed their movements and harassed them outside their hotels. Activists are members of a radical group that together have received millions of dollars from the left's premier foundations, dark money networks, including George Soros Open Society Foundations, the Ford Foundation, the Tides Foundation, and the 1630 fund, Washington Free Beacon Found. Now, if you think that all of this money is going to fund nonviolent stuff, well, check this one out, because making noise outside of a hotel in the middle of the night is not the only thing that they're doing.
News alert Minneapolis police declaring an unlawful assembly overnight after a mob of anti-ICE protesters attempted to breach the hotel where they believed ICE agents are staying. This comes as we're seeing cell phone video taken by a federal agent involved in the fatal shooting of Renee Good. Matt Finn is live on the ground in Minneapolis with the latest. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Charlie, it's quiet right now, but just a few hours ago, really, not far from where I'm standing, it was a much different scene. These protesters, some who turned into rioters, surrounded a hotel where they thought ICE agents are staying. Our Garrett Tanney was on the scene. He reports a small group of the protesters broke into the depot in downtown Minneapolis, which I believe is attached to the hotel. They were tossing around the furniture inside while others were spray painting anti-ICE messages on the windows. Now outside, the protesters were playing instruments, banging drums, and blowing whistles to prevent immigration agents from sleeping or getting rest. Our Fox affiliate reports police declared an unlawful assembly sometime within the 10 o'clock hour last night. Now, yesterday, body camera video showing some of the
Okay, so now it's getting into the body camera video that got you. But anyway, so it says here, it says I'm sorry, there we go. Get it back up. There we go. At the center of the unrest is the Sunrise Movement, a left-wing group founded to fight climate change that has since directed its local chapters to fight the Trump administration. For Sunrise Twin Cities, that means tormenting ICE agents on the ground. The group holds in-person action trainings on how to stop ICE and build a revolution. It also maintains a running list of the Twin Cities hotels housing ICE agents and organizes late-night noise demonstrations aimed at making it impossible for these hotels to operate. So let's just be real. They're not just going after ICE agents. They're going after the hotels, and they're going after anybody who patronizes the hotels where these folks are sleeping. And now they're trying to break into the hotels. I mean, these are the folks who are training folks. And once again, I don't know if they are training them to use their vehicles to block ICE. I don't know if they're training them to pound on cars, to throw things at officers, to attack officers. But here's the thing. And this was one of the things that I thought was very, very clear, is that these folks, these ICE agents, they are law enforcement agents. If you prevent them, if you get in the way of them doing their job, you are violating federal law. You are obstructing or delaying a federal officer in the performance of their duties. That is a federal crime. And if you resist arrest, if they go to arrest you and you resist, now you are resisting or obstructing or delaying. You are now resisting arrest. Basically, it's the same thing that happened to Renee Good. Renee Good was obstructing a police officer in the performance of their duties. When they went to detain her, she attempted to flee. That's resisting arrest, or as is normally called, obstructing or delaying an officer in the performance of their duties. So that basically they're kind of she committed the same crime twice. And then she committed a felony assault on an officer with a deadly weapon. If you ram them with your car, you can expect that they here's the thing. Gosh, I wish I'd pulled that up, because the guy from Chicago, the police chief from Chicago, said it really well. He basically said, look, if you box them in, they are going to assume that they are about to be ambushed, and they are going to defend themselves. And they have the right to do so. Don't do it. And yet you have people doing it anyway. If you ram them with your car, that is assault with a deadly weapon. Deadly force is to be met with deadly force. And the other thing I want you guys to really understand is these ICE agents, they're not trained for crowd control, right? They're not, to be honest, they're not trained for this stuff. They know what they can and cannot do in defense of themselves. But as you can see from some of these things, these officers are not trained for, these mass group events, these mass protests. They're not trained for it. And Minnesota PD has basically been told you're not allowed to go and defend them. You're not allowed to be a part of any of this. So they're told you can't be there. The people who are trained to deal with this stuff. And so the ICE agents do what they have to do to defend themselves. Do they use some salty language? Yeah, they do. And they get pissed off because, once again, they're not trained for this stuff. They're trained to go after people who are in this country illegally, apprehend them, and get them out. And then even worse than that, and this is the other thing to understand, is they're not trained to deal with people who are being told by government officials, by members of Congress, by mayors, by city council members, by the media, by entertainers, to resist. People are telling them, people who are opinion leaders are telling them to resist law enforcement. They're telling them, do not comply. Do not do what it is that you should do or that is legal. Just do what it is that you want to do, right? That is what they are being told. And so as a result, they're acting up. And they're getting themselves in trouble. And that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a very, very big problem for them. And I don't know what to do because, like I said, in many cases, these folks are putting themselves, they're being put in very, very bad situations. They really are. They're being put in horrible situations because they're listening to people. And these people, folks, let me just tell you, they do not have your best interest at heart. They don't. They honestly do not have your best interest at heart. What they want is they want for you to create chaos. They want you to create chaos, right? I'm trying to download right now this video because I want you to see it. I want you to hear this. This is a guy who is a protester, right? And what he's doing is he's telling you exactly what it is. Now, this is a guy who supposedly has years in the business, shall we say, when it comes to protesting. He's been doing this for quite a while. This is not something that is new to him. And he's explained to you why he's not in jail right now, why he is okay, why he's not been beat over the head by law enforcement. It's because he does what it is. He treats it, he acts.
What happened in Minnesota, this woman who is now dead, sadly, she leaves a child and a wife, and it shouldn't have happened.
That's some salty language.
I have a right to comment on this more than 99.9% of all of you, so listen to what I'm fucking saying here. Why? Because I am the protester. For 35 years, this is what I've been doing. Thousands of protests, dozens upon dozens of arrests. And the reason I am still here, or I don't have stitches from a club, or I don't have marks from a taser, is right here in this image. Every single time that I have been arrested, you will notice my hands I place behind my back, as I am told when I get arrested. I do not resist, I do not spit, I do not curse, I do not struggle, I do not fight, or be aggressive towards the authorities who are there to arrest me, because when we protest, we step over a line that is there, and that line happens to be called the fucking law. And thank God in this country, we can step over that line sometimes, but we have to understand that we are now in a different zone, because that cop over there, I think his kids got leukemia. That cop over there, I know, was in a bank robbery last night with the thugs, and he got shot at, and he's back out in the street, but he's all high tension. And that guy over there, that cop, I know his wife is fucking a mailman, so I'm in a high tension area. And these fuckers have guns, batons, and tasers. We have a system in this country, it's called the court of fucking law. And whether I'm wrong or right in this situation, officer, I didn't do anything wrong. Put your hands behind your back. Yes, sir. And I will take that up with the judge and prove my innocence. I do not bring the courtroom right there at that high tension fucking moment. So, this woman would still be alive. I don't think she was the kind of woman that would have done what she did, which was resist and be aggressive towards the authorities, as you see in the video, and you go all fight about that. But let's get to the base here. The base is the wife is probably looking to sue Trump or the police or the ICE or this or the time. She needs to look at the Democrat, liberal politicians, community activists, and the fucking douchebag, motherfucking self-loathing, divisive cocksuckers in the liberal fucking media that tell her and those like her to resist arrest and be aggressively violent towards any authority.
Let me explain something. Now, I know some of you who are as allergic to government tyranny as I am feel as though these ICE situations feel a little bit too authoritarian for you, and I get that. And trust me, I will be the first to say if I feel as though it's gone too far. But what I see is an administration that was voted in to be tough on immigration because the previous one was completely reckless and irresponsible in letting in probably 8 figures worth of immigrants without proper vetting. And I think it's impossible to deploy a mission to capture as many illegal immigrants across the country, many of which are dangerous, without having some situations that don't end well or look aggressive. And I think who's to blame here more than anyone is, like he said, the Democratic establishment, and that includes the media, who have indoctrinated many people into madness right now. But I will be watching closely, and I'm not afraid to call out any government when they do anything tyrannical in nature, no matter who they are. I just don't think this is it, and that's the fucking vibe today, baby.
Once again, I want to apologize for the salty language, but they're keeping it real. I mean, these are not guys who are friends of. They're probably more libertarian, libertarian than they are conservative. They're probably not big friends of government, big government, or Donald Trump. But the point that they're making here is 100% valid. When you challenge law enforcement, when you go up against it, first of all, one of the first things I learned in my CCW class, and one of the first things that my brother, who was a card-carrying NAACP member, president of the Sacramento chapter, taught when he taught his, how to survive an encounter with law enforcement is when you're dealing with law enforcement, you be respectful, you comply, you don't make the argument there on the street. You make the argument in the court. You state your objection, and then you let them, then you comply. That's how you do it. You live to fight another day in court. But they're being encouraged to do this stuff. At the very least, I don't see anybody being discouraged from doing this stuff. I don't see anybody. I don't see Ilhan Omar. I don't see AOC. I don't see JB Pritzker. I don't see any of these Democrats coming out and saying, hey, don't fight with the cops. Don't block their cars. Don't throw snowballs and rocks and bottles and Molotov cocktails at them. No, they're not saying that. And so it's happening. And then you wonder why. It's all. I'm not saying it's all their fault, because ultimately these are adults who are making adult decisions. They're actively knowing that they decided they wanted to FA, and now they're going to FO, and that is just the way that is. And just they need to know it's their choice, it's their responsibility. They're the ones who decided to do it. And what's even worse, and here's the thing: instead of actually, being happy that 10,000 violent criminals have been taken off the streets of the United States of America, or another 52,000, nonviolent criminals, but criminals nonetheless, have been taken off the streets. You have places like Minnesota and Illinois actually suing the federal government, basically claiming, yeah, no, this what they're doing is a violation of our 10th Amendment rights. That's what they're doing. They're claiming it's a violation of our 10th Amendment rights. Let me read a little bit here. It says there officials in Minnesota and Illinois filed lawsuits within hours of each other Monday, seeking to curb the Trump administration's ongoing immigration crackdown in their states. Although the lawsuits are separate and nuanced, both states cited the 10th Amendment to back their claim that the surge of immigration and customs enforcement and border patrol agents, which has stoked nationwide protests as well as violence and fear in their cities, is tantamount to a federal overreach and a violation of the state's sovereignty. Well, once again, while that is what is being reported by CNN, interestingly enough, even their own folks aren't buying it. Did I not upload that video? Okay, hold on. Let me get that video uploaded, because, yeah, even their own folks, they're at CNN, their own legal analyst is basically saying, no, this is not, there's no there. Here it is.
Lawsuits. They're really political diatribes masquerading as lawsuits. If you look at what both states are asking the courts to do, it's to kick ICE out of those states and cities and to bar ICE from carrying on federal law enforcement in Illinois and Minnesota. That's the top thing both states asked to do, and they cite zero precedent for that. There is zero precedent for that. There is no way a judge can say, you, federal law enforcement agency, you are not allowed to execute federal law in a certain state or city. I think the most that the states could get out of this, if they get sympathetic judges, is a judge who's going to ask questions of ICE, who's going to hold hearings, who's going to demand questions about how they're training, how they're carrying out their policy. You also could have judges that issue sort of symbolic orders along the lines of, ICE, you are not to violate the law, but that's already the case. It's already not allowed for ICE to violate the law. So these lawsuits, which appear to be coordinated, they're potentially powerful political statements, but I don't give them much of a chance of achieving the legal thing that they're asking for in the courts.
So in other words, these are, once again, political statements. There's no law. In other words, you can't tell the federal government you can't enforce federal law. Now, I will say this. These local municipalities that are not sending law enforcement to aid these ICE agents, when these ICE agents are under duress and they are under attack, when you request assistance from local law enforcement and they do not respond and they do not come, that I believe, and I could be wrong. I wish Mike was here to confirm this with me, but I do believe that is a federal crime. That refusing to come is a crime. Now, I'm not saying they refuse to come, but if they had coordinated, law enforcement could have been there in order to control some of these crowds. And you probably wouldn't have the problems that you are having in many of these cases. And once again, it's important to understand, and I want people to understand, they are not just randomly pulling people out of their cars, all right? They are going places. They are identifying vehicles and places once again, these are in sanctuary cities. They're targeting criminals. They're targeting people who have committed a crime and are here illegally, have been indicted of a crime and are here illegally, or have an active order of deportation, right? Meaning it's already been said, you're not supposed to be here, get out. Now, if they go there and there are people who are illegal, who are here illegally, and yes, they're going to ask people, are you here illegally? Because that's their job. They're ICE. And you are here illegally, they will take them too. Right? That's kind of the way that works. So here's the thing. If you don't want to be arrested, if you don't want to be, you just know, maybe I'm breaking this. Maybe I don't know if I'm breaking the law by saying this to the folks out there who are watching the show who might be illegal immigrants. But here's the deal. Number one, the best way to not get caught up by ICE, don't be here illegally. In fact, self-deport. If you would self-deport, you get to go. They've already said you get to go to the front of the line when it comes to applying to come back. Right? You just get to go. You have to go through the process legally. That's number one. And if you don't do that, don't hang out with other illegal immigrants. Don't hang out where they hang out. Because you don't know the arrest records, the records of the people that you're hanging out. Because like I said, 10,000 violent criminals have been removed from this country. 10,000. Right? Another 52,000 criminals, illegal aliens, meaning people who have committed crimes that are nonviolent crimes, but have committed crimes. Whereas they add in those two, maybe it's another 16,000, right? Then another 52,000 that have been indicted of crimes, either violent or nonviolent. The point that I'm making here is you don't know their record. But here's the thing, ICE does. And ICE is coming after them. And if they find you in an area, they are going to detain you. Or they're going to ask you, at the first they're going to do is they're going to ask you, are you a citizen? And that's kind of what happened to this next individual. Now, this guy, he had a firearm, and it turns out. Well, let me read a little bit of the story here for you. This is being reported by our friends over at Bearing Arms, and the question that is, was a Minnesotan illegally detained by ICE for carrying a gun? Let me read a little bit of it for you here. A Minnesota man was arrested and detained by ICE, is speaking out after video of his detention went viral on social media, claiming the agents detained him after he refused to produce ID and after they found a gun. He says he can legally carry. A video posted below doesn't show the entire encounter between the man who identifies himself as Gage Diego Garcia and 4 ICE agents. Instead, it picks up as 2 agents try to get Garcia to put his hands on the back of the car. Warning, there's a lot of profanity. And I'm going to go ahead and play that video for you so that you guys can see at least the latter part of the encounter.
Get the fuck on the car before you get fucking arrested.
I'm not.
Get the fuck on the car before you get
Now that's fucking assault.
Don't move, you're gonna get fucking tased. Don't fucking move or you're gonna get tased. Because you want to be an idiot.
I'm not moving.
Because you want to be a fucking
You're
idiot.
a fucking pussy.
You're a fucking bitch. And you're gonna learn the fucking hard way.
Just asked you for an ID. That was
I don't
it.
give a fuck what you asked me for, bitch.
Shut up.
You shut up, bitch.
Shut up.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
He has a gun on him. Look at that.
A fully registered firearm. Because I'm a U.S. citizen. What's wrong with y'all? Wow.
Let's go. Get him in the fucking car.
That's a wax.
Okay, the rest of it's pretty much him sitting in the car, them yelling him yelling at them. Wasn't exactly handled with the utmost of professionalism, but anyway, you saw what happened. Anyway, it says here in a subsequent video posted to TikTok, Garcia says he and his friend were hanging out in an alley talking when ICE agents showed up and demanded to see ID. Rivera said he refused to do so since he had done nothing wrong. Quote, and then he got in my face and everything I stated and everything I started and everything and I started blowing a whistle. He said I spit on him and that it was assault and some more. And they started grabbing me, and that's when the video starts. That's what everybody's seen, Garcia said. Garcia says he was taken to the Whipple Federal Building where he was interviewed and detained for several hours before being released, apparently after his firearm and other possessions had been returned to him. We don't have any video that shows the initial interaction between Garcia and the ICE agents. So at this point, we have no idea if he spit on the agent, either intentionally or by accident. Garcia would have been within his rights not to produce identification, but ICE also has the authority to detain someone if they have reasonable suspicion to believe the individual is in the country illegally. In fact, the National Immigration Justice Center, hardly a right-wing anti-immigration outfit, states that if U.S. citizens or those with lawful immigration status are stopped by ICE, they should show your passport, legal permanent resident card, work permit, or other documentation of your status. If you are over the age of 18, you should carry your papers with you at all times. Minnesota is not a duty to inform state, so Garcia was under no obligation to inform the officers that he was legally carrying a gun before they discovered it during the pat-down. While one ICE agent seemed to express surprise that Garcia was armed, it doesn't appear that his gun caused agents to escalate their behavior. On X, one user shared this video with a number of 2A organizations and advocates, including myself. By the way, this is written by Cam Edwards. I'm going to be interviewing. I'm trying to interview Cam Edwards on this on 2A News, so we can go a little bit more detail into this. Garcia claims that while he was being questioned at the Whipple Federal Building, one ICE agent asked why he was carrying. He says he responded that it was his Second Amendment right to do so, which is absolutely correct. I'm not an attorney, but if any of Garcia's rights were violated during this encounter, it was his Fourth Amendment rights. I agree with him. While was a failure to produce an ID enough to generate a reasonable cause to believe he was in the country illegally, that's the primary issue here, not Garcia's gun ownership. Yep. 100% agree with Cam's assessment. The reality is this guy basically was, we don't know what caused them to go down the street. We don't know what caused them to ask him the question, are you a citizen? They can require him to show an ID if they can reasonably believe that he's in the country illegally. Well, okay, I want to hear what the officers say what gave them reasonable cause or to believe that he was in the country illegally. I would love to know this. And that will determine whether or not he was illegally stopped. Now, what I will also say is, you know what? At least the officers, and once again, he wasn't charged with anything with the gun. He got his gun back and all of that. So that part of the process at least worked, I guess. But him being in possession of a firearm was not in and of itself a reason for him to be detained. Now, he was detained. He was not arrested. And I think that was another problem that I had with it, because you had the guy say, "Well, we're gonna arrest you because all we asked you to show ID, and we're now gonna arrest you." Well, wait a minute. He hadn't committed a crime. What were you arresting him for? You were detaining him, and in their job, they are allowed to detain, and detaining is not the same as arresting. Taking him into temporary custody till you assess his citizenship is not arresting somebody. And that's a certain amount of detail that particular ICE agent needs to probably should be better informed on or better trained on. But like I said before, a lot of the stuff that these officers are having to do right now, the sad part is that they're not trained for, and they're meeting a level of resistance that is being stoked by anti ICE organizations, or basically anti Trump organizations and individuals. And this guy, now, I don't want to put this. He could have mitigated all of this simply by showing his ID. He really could have, especially if he had a concealed carry permit, because you can't get a concealed carry permit if you're not a citizen. So that, especially, well, I'm sorry, if you are not a legal citizen, you cannot get a concealed carry permit. That's proof enough of your citizenship. Now, he may say that he's not obligated, and you're right. He can't go to jail for not doing it, but they can detain him until they determine his citizenship. And if you decide that you don't want to share your citizenship, they are under legal authority to detain you until they determine your citizenship status or your residency status. So, once again, it all hinges. But once again, all of this hinges. Their ability to ask him for it is, what was their reasonable suspicion? And if it was simply the color of his skin, they're going to be in trouble. I don't know if they were standing next to a car that was owned by somebody, registered to somebody who was in the country illegally. I don't know if one of the other the guy he was talking to was in the country illegally. Is this an area? Not just an area, but a specific location where they're known to hang out? I mean, they better have something, because if they don't have something and all they have is his brown skin, and I'm not saying they never go by just that, the law says that you cannot use that alone. So that alone, their ethnicity, their nationality, their ethnicity is not enough in and of itself for you to determine that they may or may not be, in the country illegally. That the laws are, the Supreme Court's already made it clear. You can use that as one of several factors, but it cannot be the only factor. It cannot be the sole factor, and it cannot be the main factor. And I get the impression, I'm wondering, I'll put it to you this way. That is at the very least what they are going to say, that it was the sole reason or that it was the primary reason. And that is likely going to get these federal officers in a little bit of trouble, at least if they can't come up with something else. If they don't have anything else, they're going to be in trouble. Just saying. All right, next, for those of you out there who insist that the ICE agent did not get hit, the ICE agent that got hit in the whole Renee Good video, the whole Renee Good shooting situation. First of all, at the very end of the first video, if you look, you can see, I mean, the very first video that was released, if you look at it, you can see that dude came up limping, right? I'm looking here for the video. You can see that the guy got hit. At least it's harder to see that he got hit, right? Do I have it here? That was last. Let me see. Maybe it was the week before that. Let me look real quick. But it's really kind of obvious that when the guy came down, he was something was wrong. He was walking with a bit of a limp. Main, low, military. Is this it? No. All right, let me look back up here. Anyway, it looked to me like he had an initial limp. Now, when he left, after he got hit, they took him to the hospital. And when they took him to the hospital, he was released on the same day. But according to reports, dude definitely. Yeah, no, I can't find the video right there, but I'll find. I'm sure if you go back, trust me, if you go on YouTube, I am quite sure that you will be able to find this particular video of him getting shot. But right now, according to, and this is not just being reported by Fox News, I specifically pulled CBS. ICE agent who shot Renee Good suffered internal injuries. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent who fatally shot Renee Good last week in Minnesota, Minneapolis, Jonathan Ross, suffered internal bleeding to the torso following the incident, according to 2 U.S. officials briefed on his medical condition. It's unclear how extensive the bleeding was. The Department of Homeland Security confirmed Ross's injury, but has yet to respond to CBS News requests for more information. The story will be updated to learn more. Videos from the scene. Let's go here. So let's show this. Let's show this real quick. And I want you to see this.
Let's talk
Yeah,
about
we don't
soda
really want to watch
because
the
Poppy's
commercial.
changed it for the better forever.
But I
It's
think
a
they're going to make us
bubbly,
watch the commercial
bold,
in order to see
better
the
for
video.
you soda that still gives you that iconic fizzy flavor you can't resist.
Not interested in the fizzy flavor. Thank you for sharing.
With 5 grams of sugar and ingredients you can love.
Really, you're going to make us watch the entire.
refreshing
Tell you
intention.
what, we'll shut down the audio while the commercial is on. But what you're going to see at the end of this video, I want you to just watch, just real quick at the end, after she goes to pull off, watch, he has a limp. Here it is. Here it is. Boom. Now watch. There he is right there with the limp. So clearly, dude, yeah, he clearly has a limp there at the end. So clearly he got hit. And I still have people on my Facebook feed, on my Facebook page, who are literally denying that dude got hit. And I'm like, what are you people watching? What are you people smoking? I'm sorry. But after watching the second video, and I get that the second video is kind of grainy, it's from a long distance, but when you zoom in, you can clearly see the car makes contact, knocks his lower body out from underneath him, at least half of his lower body out from underneath him, right? And that was the point at which he shot, and then drives off. The one after that, the one video came out after that, which was him videotaping, you can see and you can hear the car hit him. But that's not enough for some folks. They're like, oh, well, that's nothing. You have the mayor of Minneapolis saying, well, people have gotten hurt worse with getting out of the car or moving a washing dryer. I'm sorry. And I do not offer this, and I'm not saying this as a threat. I'm not saying I'm not threatening anybody, but I dare you to stand in front of my car. And if I go to hit you the way he was hit, and have you not believed that I'm trying to kill you, or I could potentially kill you? That's just the math don't work. The math doesn't work. The logic and the math doesn't work at all. All right, folks, that brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces, one word, and get your Hog Holster today. And I am just realizing I didn't upload any of the videos for my parting shots. Let me see if I have them downloaded here. I apologize for this. I don't know what I was thinking. I honestly do not know what I was thinking. Where my head was, or anything like that.
We sent him a picture on the toilet. We said, we know where you are. We know where you are. We did that with Maduro. We've been tracking his bowel movements for weeks. We have like the best science for that. We have technology. We said, we know you're going number 2. And we know you're a back to front wiper. We told him, we said, we know exactly what you're doing. We knew where he was on the bed. He likes to curl up. He's a side sleeper. We said, we know. He was wearing little ducky pajamas, and we're going to get you. If you don't cut it out, we're going to get you so quick.
We should do an exchange, too. Gather all the fucking homeless drug addicts.
There you go. Anyway, I thought that was hilarious. Oh, okay. And this next one, we're only gonna do 2 today because we're running really short on time here at the end. I think that this particular video, they really understand what men want. Well, especially likely the men who watch this show.
Men only want one thing, and it's not money, it's not power, it's...
Yeah, I would agree. Those of you listening, how I know you agree is because even you understood exactly what that sound was. All right, folks, that's going to bring us to the end of our program. But before we go, we're going to have one more quick shout out to our sponsors. We got Hitman Industries rifle and pistol caliber barrels available for you to purchase at any length at hitmanindustries.net. We got the conscience of the Republican Party. That's right, the California Republican Assembly. If you want to be a part of California's future today, you got to join CRA. We've got the best in concealed carry tactical holsters available on the market at Hawg Holsters. That's HAWG holsters.com, helping Americans wear guns. And then finally, we've got the place where you can find all things tactical except a gun, and that would be at uscombatgear.com. With that, we're going to go ahead and call it a day. We'll call it a shoe. We will be back tomorrow on Throat Punch Thursday. Till then, y'all have fun, stay safe, and we will see you mañana.